Hey there, I'm Diego. I'm 22. I currently live in my childhood minivan that I built out myself. I believe that we should pack the trails. I think that more people should be out in nature and experience everything it has to offer, everything it has to teach us. So if climbing mountains, rock climbing, desert adventures, backpacking sounds like something you're interested in watching, stick around. I got a lot of cool things coming. This video starts just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. I drive from Arkansas to the Oklahoma Wichita Mountains Wildlife Refuge. I go rock climbing, I do photography, and explore a totally underrated park. So stick around. This was a really fun one. Good morning. I woke up outside of Little Rock, Arkansas yesterday. I climbed Pinnacle Mountain. It's a lot more beautiful than I expected. I slept in this little pullout off the highway, and I just woke up 7 in the morning. I didn't expect it to be this beautiful today. So my plan for the day is to drive to Oklahoma. More highway time, yay! After driving pretty much all the way from Cleveland across the state of Arkansas and into Oklahoma, I was absolutely beat down physically and mentally, just utterly exhausted. And coming into Oklahoma was the first place that had the potential to inspire me and to be a fun adventure. And so once I made it to the Wichita Wildlife Mountain Refuge, I changed my plans and decided to spend a few nights there just to slow down and enjoy the scenery and just spend some time not driving for a change. I know, crazy. So I found some rock climbing that was there, and I woke up for a bunch of sunrises and just came to explore this wildlife refuge, which honestly really impressed me. Now, I should preface this section of the video by saying that when it comes to rock climbing of any form, I'm an absolute beginner. I've climbed a few mountains, some volcanoes in Ecuador, but when it comes to technical rock climbing, I have no idea what I'm doing. Nonetheless, I still find it interesting and I still want to learn, so you're going to have to deal with watching me do some very beginner basic moves on this boulder. And hopefully over the time of these videos, you'll see me improve. This was on a boulder called Pumbaa, and the problem was called a problem-free philosophy. And this was actually my first outdoor problem or route I've ever sent before. I've been climbing in the gym for a little while now, but I'd never actually gone outside, so it was an easy one, but I'm glad I finally got outdoors. Here I'm attempting a problem called When I Was a Young Warthog. Fitting. Okay, let's move on. When I broke a hold. And yeah, that was kind of scary. I made it to Oklahoma. I'm in the Wichita Mountains National Wildlife Refuge. I think I'm most surprised by how much driving is required on a road trip. I didn't realize, I obviously realized there was a lot of driving, but it has been a little tedious because of how fast I've been trying to do it. I just really wanted to get to New Mexico. I thought the interesting stuff was going to be. So everything from Cleveland all the way to Texas basically was just get it over with as fast as possible. And I don't think that, no, it didn't work. I'm going to spend a few days here in the Wichita wilderness. It surprised me by how beautiful it is, first and foremost. And two, it seems like a slow moving place, which is exactly what I need. You know, after you quit a job and kind of put what would seem like your entire life on hold, I would expect to an extent that, you'd be almost in bliss. It'd be fantastic to just, not have any problems anymore. But the reality is that I think it's a common thing that people experience, and I'm experiencing right now, is your brain and body don't know how to slow down to a state of no stress. So even though I'm basically completely free to do whatever I want in the world until May, given my budget, my brain is still running so quickly, and it's expected. I know that when you enter the wilderness, from having been in a fast-moving city environment, it takes a while for everything to settle down, for your mind to quiet, and to connect to yourself and to nature. So that's kind of the stage of the trip I'm in. Yeah. So, and also to bring in the photography aspect of this, I really want to make amazing imagery during this trip. I want to make good videos and create really cool stuff. And so I'm putting all this pressure on myself for no reason. I mean, it's self-imposed. It's that same stress and pressure that I'd have from school, but it's completely self-imposed now. And I'm realizing that, so, well, I'm practicing to slow down and to enjoy the process, because that's why I do any of this in the first place. In my mind, I want to optimize every sunset, every single second, to take amazing, grand vistas and imagery, but I need to realize that it's okay to slow down and spend multiple days just observing a place before I even take my camera out. Well, I just got to the Wichita Wilderness, and there's some rock climbing around here. I'm just learning how to boulder and to rock climb, so I came out to this little boulder out here that I'm gonna mess around with and wait until the sun sets, basically, which it sets at 6:09 now, and it's 5:07. So got a little time to hang out and convince myself to relax. Hope some of you can relate to that. Also, that whole spiel was just so that I can rest properly before I try my next attempt on this boulder. Finally, after many attempts, I was able to send When I Was a Young Warhog. Each different route on a specific boulder has a different name, and they're usually really creative and funny. Finally, at the end of my boulder session, the sun was getting to a good position, and it was time to figure out if I was going to get any photos that were worthwhile for the evening. Something most landscape photographers know, or come to know eventually, is that it's sometimes very hard to photograph a place that's completely unknown to you for the first time, and that's what I'm trying to do out here. So now what I like is this light hitting that rock outcropping in the back, so I'm gonna sit down on that ledge, which means I gotta run down here and somehow get over there and hang my legs off of that little area. So those are my settings. And what I do is set it on an interval timer. So every 10 seconds, it's taking the photo I want. And that way, hopefully one of them will be what I want. Here's how that image turned out. I'm not really convinced, but gotta take 1,000 bad ones to get a good one, right? Okay, I'm gonna try to get over there to the top of that little peak.
before the sun sets so I can shoot the sunset from up there. Let's see if I make it. It's a race against the sun. Oh my God, a dream come true. I found an armadillo.
Although this didn't turn out to be any photo opportunity or anything like that, I was so happy because for some odd reason, I always had wanted to see an armadillo in real life. They're just such a weird animal. I did end up making it to the top of that peak, and it was called Baldy Mountain, and this is the only other photo that I thought was even worth editing from the afternoon, as well as this one that I took before I even went bouldering of this kayaker paddling right near this dam. Nothing that I'm too excited about, but not a bad start to the photography for this area. That was the best night of sleep I've had on the trip so far. I was sleeping right down there somewhere. It was so quiet. I could just hear the wind and the coyotes howling. It felt good to sleep somewhere semi-wild and somewhere quiet for a change after having slept by the interstate for the past 3 days. That morning I was able to have a totally effort-free sunrise, driving up Mount Scott. There's a road to the top of the mountain, so no effort on my part to get these views, but they didn't disappoint nonetheless.
Okay, I think I really like this composition with this boulder right here, the water, and the mountains in the back. But I think I need a subject right there, so I'm gonna scramble over there, set myself up, and see if we can make an interesting image.
I feel like I'm still shaking off the rust from not picking up my camera in the last few weeks, but I think these images came out all right. First I gotta get out everything I need. Have my spices down here and just a cooler right now. No ice or refrigerator in it, but it's all pantry stuff really. If you think you're hearing bombs, you're right. There's an army base over there, and I guess they're blowing stuff up. So there it is. I don't currently have a plate yet, so I have to use this griddle to eat. I had to wait for it to cool down. Next time I stop at a grocery store, I definitely will be picking up a plate. After I was done with breakfast, I was really enjoying the vibe of this place so much that I decided to pull out my guitar. Now, mind you, I'm also a total beginner at guitar, but it's also something I really want to learn. Sometimes it seems like the only thing I'm not a beginner at is walking, but that's alright. I don't mind being a beginner. I know the things I want to get better at, and yeah, I'm pursuing them, even though most of the time when I start playing guitar, it ends up looking like this. After my little guitar session, I headed over to this boulder called the Treasure Chest to soak in the sun to send some new routes. It had a lot more variety than the other boulder I was practicing earlier on, and I had a ton of fun here. And yeah, I found a route that was super challenging, but I was able to accomplish it by the end. I'll show that one in a second. Trying to send this next boulder is where I spent the rest of my skin budget. I think most of the people watching this most likely don't rock climb. Sometimes, more often than not, the things limiting your climbing are not your muscles, but the softness of the skin on your hands, especially when you're a beginner. And so there's a limited amount of time I can practice or attempt a certain route before my skin is just too raw and I can't put any more pressure on. And for someone just starting to rock climb, that really does not take too much time. After way more attempts than I'll bother you with watching, I finally figured out that after I have my left hand there, I have to reach up and grab that right hold. Even though it was a lot of pain on my fingers, I just had to bear through it, and that was the trick to get me to the top of the boulder. And let me tell you, when I finally got up there after probably more than 30 tries, it felt amazing. The rest of the day was pretty much spent walking around, editing photos and videos. Like I said, I got to do a little bit of everything that I liked in this one day, and it was the most refreshing and needed rest and hobby day in order so that I can get back on the road and keep driving to new destinations and exploring new places. Yeah, so I really hope you guys are enjoying these short documentary vlog things. I plan to keep making them, so just a reminder, if you could like the video and subscribe, it really helps out, and you'll be notified when I make a new video. And so with that, I'll see you guys soon.